everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of The Book Bow. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jocelyn Rodriguez.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alejandra, and welcome back. I always think, I'm like, man, we should have some type of drum roll, like something leading up to it. I get so excited.
No,
Um,
I love it.
yeah, but how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I think we're just getting back from Thanksgiving break, and I think that was a very refreshing period for me because I was able to kind of close my laptop. I had plans of getting lesson plans done, of doing some work for my induction program. And I was able to map out my next unit just kind of on a Google Doc. And that's where I left it because I was like, you know what? I need a break. I need to come back refreshed and ready to go. And I think if I spend this entire week working, I might just kind of be
You're going to burn out.
Yeah, I'm going to burn out. And so I just kind of took the time to really just rest, read. I'm a very big plant person. So it was actually like a good week to like go through my plants and like give them the love and care that they need. And I ended up buying 4 more plants because I already didn't have enough.
I love it.
I bought it and now I'm like a crazy plant lady. I have a humidifier, like it's crazy, but I love my plants. They're kind of like if I'm ever stressed out with work. This is a lot knowing about me, but if I'm ever stressed out with work, like I take a little mental break and I just go like check on them, like make sure that there's nothing dying. Do they need to be watered? And so this is a very good week to do things that I absolutely love to do and not have to be getting up at a certain time, making sure that like my lessons are due, that I'm grading exit tickets, I'm doing everything else. And so I'm refreshed and ready to go. How are you?
I love that. And can I just say, like, I mean, we obviously record every other week and like we kind of talk and stuff, but I did not know you were a plant lady. And I kind of love it because I'm gonna name drop. So now I'll know if you guys really listen to my episode or not, because I'll be waiting a response for them. But my 3 best friends, Raven, Jordan, and Tiffany, have all become plant people as well. So I'm just surrounded by plant people. But growing up, I had like awful allergies, and I'm just like, I'm gonna stay away because we do not get along. But I just love them. They're so beautiful. Like they will send each other different plant Instagrams back and forth in her group chat, and it's just amazing.
Me in those.
Yes. I'm telling you, like I know so many plant people now, and I'm by myself now without any plants.
You gotta find the right plant because it's like I said, it's a very calming thing to like take care of something without it like being a child yet. So that's the only way I can think of it. Like, taking care of something without it being a child and needing your attention. But then I have my plants and like I may be a crazy plant lady because I sit there and like talk to them and I'm like, how are you doing today? Or like,
no, it's supposed to be good for them.
It's so good. And it's like if they get a yellow leaf, I'm like, why? Why did you do this to me? So I have a fiddle leaf fig tree.
Yeah.
And when I got it, it was only like this big and it's growing. But then I'm like super self-conscious because mine doesn't look like everybody else's. Like the leaves.
No, I'm sure it looks great.
So I'm like freaking out about the plant. And then I end up going like totally down this deep rabbit hole of like laying in bed super late at night being like, what did I do wrong with my plant?
Oh my gosh, I love this.
It's a whole different side of me. Yeah. I like have a sticker on my hydro flask that's not with me right now, but it says it's what is it called? I think it's a fiddleophile. It's like someone who's like obsessed with plants. And I'm like, that's me.
I love it.
So yeah, I love the plants. They're my little babies. As I'm sitting here staring at the 2 that are like right next to me.
I love it. No, but I'm glad that you had a good break, and I think you're totally right. I kind of went in with expectation too of like, yeah, I'm gonna like do this and that, and then once the moment comes, it's almost nice to just kind of, I don't know, sit there and not do it. But my break was really good. I'm still working at my side job. I went in 2 days during the week, so I still had about like 2 or 3 days off. But it was good, and I don't know, like for me, like I don't want to say it's not relaxing, but like I like going into my other job because I get to interact with other adults for like, since with social distancing and everything, like it's kind of nice to go in and have someone to talk to. And then it's kind of nice because it's totally not related to the teaching world at all. So it's kind of nice to like go in and not have to have little kids kind of depend on you in a way. So in that way, I don't know, it's kind of nice for me to like do something totally different. So that, yeah, like we've been crazy busy there with the holidays. But yeah, my Thanksgiving was very low key. Like I was just at home. I watched movies. It was different than most years, but it was really nice. But I'm very excited to be back. I don't know, it's just so exciting. There's so many things happening. Like we said in the last few episodes, we're kind of like in the swing of all of these like holidays.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
And I feel it. I feel the swing of the holidays. I'm already singing like Christmas music in my head all the time, and I have to be like, stop, or I'm gonna annoy my friends and people around me when I'm constantly singing every Christmas carol in the world. So it's like an energy change that has happened. And I don't know if it's because like us taking a week off or like the holidays are coming, but I feel definitely more like upbeat. Knowing that like, okay, like we just got to make it through December and then we get a longer break and then it's like a whole new year, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, I am too. I think when this episode goes up, I think will be the last episode of the year. I think either that or the first episode of the new year. So this is a very exciting time. I'm hoping for, I don't know, some sort of restart for 2021.
Yeah, I think we all kind of need that. I feel it. We all kind of need just like a reset button, and hopefully things start changing and we have somewhat of a normal life. Somewhat. I don't feel like it's going to happen for a while, but I want to travel. Like I spent all of this time like in school and being like, you know, when I'm done with school, I'm going to travel the world. And we finish school and COVID happens. And I'm like, well, I'll travel the world sometime.
Yeah, no, and I see like when you were talking about your plans, like traveling for me, that's like my go-to. And I actually had a trip planned right after our graduation. So it was such a bummer that I couldn't get to go on it with my friend, and we pushed it back for next summer, which realistically, like I don't know yet if it's gonna happen. But yeah, I definitely miss traveling. Like I have, like you're talking about, you have a sticker on your hydro flask. I have a freaking tattoo of the world, like the earth on my ankle. Like I'm very big into traveling. Man, this like makes me want to come up with more topics for like future episode, like a traveling, like plan, like let's just do it all.
Oh my God, don't even get me started. I'll start a plant book. Like we can do it. Yes. I'll write a plant book.
But yeah, I don't know, it feels really good to like hear you, like you even sound like refreshed and like excited. So this is exciting. Now I'm excited.
I know, I feel like we have good energy today, which is always a good thing, which means we should probably segue over to our topic today, which is women in science. And this is a topic that we both are like extremely excited about. One, because I feel that we never really we were starting to see it more with like the movies on Hidden Figures, and other women who have contributed to science. But it's still a topic that we feel deserves to very well be like talked about. And especially with like, I know that like my female students are very, very involved in science. They love science. They want to, that's probably one of their favorite classes. And I was always a student that was bad at science, but I loved learning it. Like once you tested me on it, my grades are bad. But it's like once I was sitting there in class, like learning about it, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. So it's a very like, we need to have that direction of like showing them positive figures in science, and it's positive women figures in science as well.
I think so too. And I think very similar to you, where like once it became like a grade thing, like I just didn't do well. And I also think just like the whole stereotype of like women not being good at like math and science, like, I don't know, I was like, well, I'm not supposed to be good at this anyway. So like, why am I going to try kind of thing? And now that I'm older, like, I don't know, like I realize how interesting it is, and almost like, I don't know, like I wish I could have seen this when I was younger, because who knows, like it could have sparked something in me. Because it is like so interesting to me now as an adult. So it makes me want to encourage, I mean, not just my girl students, but like all of my students, like I want all of my students to find science interesting. But because I feel that women have sometimes been underrepresented, I think it's important that we highlight them. And I think that's why this episode is really important to me and why I was really excited about it.
Oh no, same. Agree with everything you said. So let's go ahead and get started with that first book. So first book, which is a book that is very dear to my heart, talking about plants. It's Rachel Carson in her book that changed the world. So if you've heard of Rachel Carson, you probably have heard of her book called Silent Spring. And she is kind of considered like the mother of environmentalism. This book, just a little like synopsis on who Rachel Carson is she was someone who was always interested in nature, and her original book is called Silent Spring, and she writes this book, and I've read parts of it. I got about halfway through it. It's a book that you have to kind of like stop to read because it's saddening. And so she noticed that like there's a decrease in like wildlife, there's a decrease in birds, and the reason she calls the book Silent Spring is because springs are getting quieter. And it's because back during this time, we've kind of evolved a little bit, and we've learned the repercussions of using some of these pesticides. But it was like right when like some of these pesticides were coming out, and so they were penetrating our soil, they were penetrating our water, like it was having like this dramatic effect on wildlife. And because of her book, it actually led to rules and stuff being created about how we're using pesticides. And so I have a very like just her book is amazing. And like I said, it's one of those books that you have to kind of stop and read because you're reading like the sadness of it. She's like telling you it's very heavy, and she's telling you like at this level, like the toxicity rate is this. And she's like, but we're getting like 10 times more than that. And so we're seeing like drastic effects, like colonies of birds aren't reproducing, like all of these things. And so she's like, I want to be able to like hear birds chirping in spring again and not have a silent spring. So it's just love her. So this book, Rachel Carson, in her book that changed the world, was by Lori Lawler, making sure I'm saying that, yes, Lori Lawler. And she herself has written over 41 books that have been award-winning, fiction and nonfiction. She actually ended up winning an award for her Rachel Carson book that changed the world. She won the 2012 John Burroughs River B Award for Excellence in Nature Writing. So she won an award for this book. This book is just well written. It talks about how Rachel Carson grew up and how the schools that she went through and everything, and how she like put her life and soul into like this book Silent Spring that she created. And she also created other things. She studied like marine life and nature and all of this. And Lori Lawler herself, she's currently she loves like writing stuff about environmental activism. So she's out there, and she's like, she has a passion for it. She obviously wrote this book, and so I can see that passion when it comes to this book. And so it's a great book to kind of show students like you can set your mind to do whatever you want, and whether you're a female, you're male, or anything else, like you are like, you set your mind to it, you have passion, and you can get it done. And so that's why I just absolutely love this book. And one, it's a very strong female woman in science, and I can go on and on about how much I love this book. But it's great because it's a good way to, one, get students into environmentalism and make them realize like, okay, there's like pesticides and they've changed so much, and now we're like really monitoring that. So it's a very good way. It's a good book to kind of get students interested in that. And it's also a good way to like show students that it's not always like being like a lab scientist or being or like being a NASA or anything. There's other like forms of science or other categories of science that you can go into and still have an impact on the world. So that's what I really love about it. And I'm planning on using this book when my students start doing their like climate change unit, or like talking about their climate around them, and just kind of get them, this is going to be my introduction book to like what's around them and who she was, and start off with this like strong female in science book.
No, I loved it. And I loved when you were kind of talking about it, and you're talking about how the author is also somebody who's like super involved in that community. And I just love how, I don't know, like even you talking about it made me super excited about this topic. And I think it is important to show like different areas of science. I think normally we always think of like, I don't know, the typical like just science experiment type of
like thing. Chemist.
And I think this is obviously something that impacts all of us. We all live on this earth, and we all need to take care of it. And there's so many things you can do with a book like that. And I was thinking, back when I was a substitute, I remember there was a class, I think it was like an upper grade and a lower grade, and they were buddies, and they kind of went around their school and just did like labels for the trash can and the recycling bin and compost, and kind of just did like, oh, like what's supposed to go in each of these type of thing. And it's cool because like now that they're the ones kind of putting the label, they kind of feel like that ownership of it, and it's going to make them want to be more involved. So I'm just like, this could go, like, it could go so many ways. And yeah, and like now I'm excited to check out this book. And I've definitely been somebody, like, I just remember I went to go watch An Inconvenient Truth, like the sequel when it came out. And I went to go watch it, and I think I was like the youngest person there at the time. But I mean, it's such an important topic because we only have one earth, and I think we need to take care of it. And I mean, what better way than to encouraging the younger generation to, you know, be involved and show them that, you know, you can make a change and we have to make a change.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that so much. Yes. So I'm excited to hear your book.
Yeah, okay, this was really hard for me, and I'm kind of surprised. Honestly, I'm kind of cheating a little bit because I'm going to name drop about 3 books because I couldn't just pick one, which is so bad of me.
Book lover problems. We can't just pick one book sometimes.
It was so hard because like I want to pick a really great book every single time. But because I felt like it could be such a tricky topic, whereas like I don't want somebody to be like, I don't know what book to do. I'm like, I'm going to give you all the options. But yes, you did mention Hidden Figures. So they have a kid's book on the Hidden Figures. I loved this movie. I'm holding it up if you're watching it on our YouTube channel. Just a little plug. We do have a YouTube channel where we record us on Zoom because we are social distancing, so you can see us there and all of my hand movements. But yes, Hidden Figures. So it's the true story of 4 Black women and the space race. I loved the movie. The book is really great. It's super like again, the illustrations are beautiful. I definitely think this is something a little bit maybe for the upper grades. And then the next book that I kind of want to give a shout out to is The Doctor with an Eye for Eyes, the story of Patricia Bath. And I loved this book because it's a kind of like a rhyming book, I think. I kind of was like skimming through it really quickly right before because I read this a while ago. But it's rhyming, so I thought it was super cute. And I also love because, of course, at the end, it gives us like a little timeline of everything she's done. And it gives us like pictures about the person that this book, Dr. Patricia Bright. So I thought it was really cool. And in case like you guys want to do an activity where you feature real female scientists, I think these would be really great. But the one that I'm going to be mainly talking about in this book is called Geraldine and the Most Spectacular Science Project. And it's funny enough, I think I saw this book floating around Instagram a while ago, and it caught my eye because the name is Geraldine. And one of my coworkers, her name is Geraldine, and I just was like, I have to check this out. And I sent it to her. And I really liked it. So I'm going to give a quick summary of or what the story says. It says, Geraldine is an energetic, spirited second grader with dreams of becoming an astronaut. She knows that she's clever and innovative, but can she create the winning entry in her class science contest? And I really liked this book because, well, one, I was super drawn to the illustrations. Like it almost looks like cartoon style. Like this would make a really cute cartoon. If they like turned it into one. So I like loved it. But it's about a little girl who's in second grade, and second grade is very close to my heart because it was the first grade that I taught. But I found it really interesting because it's about this little girl, Geraldine, who is a troublemaker, and she flat out says, I love being a troublemaker, which I thought it was kind of interesting because stereotypically it's normally a boy who is normally the troublemaker. So I found it very interesting that it was kind of a girl this time. So anyways, so there's this little girl, she's always daydreaming, and she's coming up with these like crazy inventions. A few that I actually loved is for all of my people with allergies, she created this contraption where you kind of have a toilet paper hanging over your head in case you get the sniffles and you have to, have a tissue on hand. I loved it because I have allergies all the time. And then for my glass wearers, even now with masks, this might come in handy. She created these little like almost windshield wipers for your glasses. So I thought it was super cute and just like, I don't know, kind of silly and fun. So anyways, Geraldine is in class. Her teacher announces that there's going to be a science project and that one student is going to win first prize. So Geraldine takes it upon herself to say that she's going to win. And I think her classmates really begin to doubt her because they're just always kind of like, oh, like she's a troublemaker, like she's not gonna win this. And it shows her kind of running through her house, trying to gather all of these like supplies to make a really awesome submission for the science fair. And I don't want to spoil it for everybody, so I'm not gonna say what she makes, but the thing that she makes is really cute and really clever. So I don't know, like I just really liked it because I think because I'm in the younger grades, I didn't want something that was going to like feel overwhelming to them. And I think this is a really good book for the younger grades where it kind of makes it approachable. Like those kids are going to think it's so funny to have a toilet paper roll hanging over your head and to call that science, you know? Like it's not the typical like, I don't know, crazy science experiment thing, but it's just something cute and funny and something that they're going to think like, I can do that, you know? And I think it's a cute way to introduce science and like, I don't know, it'd be a fun way to like then have like a science fair contest or not even a contest, but just like a science fair where everybody kind of shows different experiments that they want to do or just creating these crazy inventions that end up becoming normal. So I really loved it. But before I forget, we forgot to mention it for yours, the 3 questions. So do you want to go first and then I'll do my 3 questions or?
No, you go first.
Okay. So our 3 questions that we always do are the who writes the stories. So the Geraldine and the Most Spectacular Science Project is written by Sol Regwin and it's illustrated by Denise Muzizo. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. I'm really sorry, guys. But so the author is, I want to go off by my picture, but I don't want to make assumptions. He's a white male. So I definitely was a little, I don't know, it was hard for me because it is about a little girl. So I would have loved if this was written by a woman. But I thought it was really cool that he is an optometrist, I believe. So I love that he's still connected to the science world and he has written other children's books. So I thought that was really important. But the illustrator is a yoga teacher who lives in Argentina. So I thought that was, I don't know, pretty cool to like something kind of different than science, you know, doing yoga. So those are the people who write this book or the authors, the who benefits from the story. I truly think that all my little troublemakers, I'm putting that in air quotes because I don't love the label, but they might feel like they are and they can see themselves in Geraldine or just little girls who maybe have people who doubt them because some of the people doubted Miss Geraldine in this book and they are going to be proven wrong. So I think they are the ones who are really going to benefit it. And who's missing from this story? I mean, I like that it didn't necessarily touch on like race a lot or even really point out that she was a girl. I do kind of wish that maybe it would have said something. I'm not upset that it didn't. I also think it would have been cool if she had like a sidekick. Would have been kind of exciting because I don't know, it would have been fun. But I mean, truly, I don't think a lot is missing from it. I thought it was a cute story, and I don't know, it makes me want to root for all of my people who didn't get believed in. So this one's for you, Geraldine.
Oh, I love it. First of all, I want to say I also do love the name and I probably would have bought it because that name is very unique, Geraldine. Yeah. And it's super cute. And I also really love how you pointed out that this book could be kind of geared towards the younger students because of like the really funny inventions of the like toilet paper on a roll right in front of you. Like that is super adorable. And so I can see that being super fun for them. And I love your idea of like having almost like a science fair and be like, what cool gadget or what science experiment could you do? That'd be awesome. Like I could totally see the younger kids just being like, ooh, I love this. Like this is such a great book. So good pick. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. And I guess I should say my 3 questions. So who writes the books? I already said Lori Lawler. And then who illustrated it was Laura Bang. I'm really bad with the names, you guys, and I feel so bad because we just do name episodes, but you guys have to give me a moment. So Laura Bangesner, and she's illustrated quite a few books. And they're all really like colorful and just like soft, and I love that. And so that's who writes the story. Who is missing from the story? I don't think anyone. Like, I never really feel like the books that we like read or pick, I never feel like they're missing anyone. I'm sitting there, I'm like, should we be picking books sometimes that have someone that's missing?
Yeah,
so that we can talk about it. Like, that's a good question now that I'm like thinking about it now, because it's like we don't have books that are missed. Like, it benefits everyone. Like, it's you know what I mean? Like,
maybe a future episode where we feature books where it's like, what
we
could
feel
we
like
add to
something's
these?
missing. Yeah. Oh, that'd be a great.
And it's hard because we really do love these books, and it's not like we're saying it because we are like, no, this book is totally perfect. I think, like I said, with, for example, their Geraldine book, I think it's a great book. So I think it'd be cool if she had a sidekick. Yeah, but is it totally missing? Not really.
Yeah.
Like these are all just things that, like, it would be nice if it had it, but I think it's such a great book on its own that I think it's fine.
And then who benefits from the stories? I think everyone does. It's good to see people going out there and changing. And I remember when I read this book to my third graders, they were absolutely like, she made all these changes. They like love learning about her. There's also quite a few other, there's another book that went along with this like lesson. It was Olivia Bowler and her birds. It was about this younger girl who drew pictures to help clean up the Gulf Coast during the oil spill. So kids were just totally like, I want to help. I want to invent something to help. Aww. And I love that. I love that they like, by students who I read it to, like develop this passion.
Yeah.
Like, we can go out there and change things. We can go out there and help. And I remember one student who I just absolutely adore, and I miss him. He's like, I'm drawing a bird just like Olivia Bowler because I want to save animals. And it was the cutest little thing ever. And I was just like,
it's just exciting to see them inspired, and it like gives me hope, and it's just such a super exciting thing. And I don't know, like, I hope they carry that on, because they are our next generation and our future scientists. So very exciting.
It's good to get them excited about things. So
I guess it was a fun episode.
I know that we kind of picked topics before we really started filming. Be like, what are some topics we really want to hit this like first go around at this podcast? And this was one of the ones we were just like, women in science. Like, we've got to do it, because there's amazing books on Galileo and Albert Einstein, like men in science, all this stuff. But we really need to highlight our women out there.
Yeah,
or anybody else.
They're totally underrepresented, and whatever we can do to highlight, I am all for it.
Yes. So I guess this goes to our ending challenge and ending question, which is something I've really come to enjoy. So I guess I will do the ending question. Ooh, I just scrolled past it. So what is one of your favorite science lessons you have done with your students? So this goes for multiple subjects, like elementary school teachers. You are teaching some type of science into your curriculum. So we want to know, what's one of your favorite science lessons? Because when I do science lessons, not unfortunately, I mean, I love ELA, but right now I'm only teaching ELA.
Yeah.
And I miss that aspect of like teaching little science experiments, and they just love it. Like last year I made marshmallow shooters, and it was like for potential and kinetic energy. So potential energy was like pulling it back, and the kinetic energy was the marshmallow shooting out. And the kids had so much fun with that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing like their like faces light up, because science is very hands-on. So what is your favorite science lesson to teach?
Oh, I'm excited to hear, because I am teaching science. It's a little different. So if you have any Zoom ones, that'd be great. I'm going to plug Mystery Science, which is what I've been using lately. And it's a lot of like videos and interactive stuff, and my kids really enjoy it, but I definitely miss it being like hands-on, because that marshmallow project sounds really fun. But yes, our ending challenge is to look up a woman in the science field and then introduce it to your students. I think it would be amazing to, like, I don't know, maybe do like a week or something where you highlight a different woman scientist and just give like a quick bio about her, and I don't know, just kind of, you know, show these underrated women in these fields. I think it would be amazing. And let us know too, because I think it'd be cool, because then that way we don't have to like look everybody up, and we can all just share, and it'll be a community of scientists. But yes, so this brings us to the end of our episode. Whew, man, it goes very quick.
It feels like It honestly, it does go by. Like, I'm looking right now and I'm like, we're at exactly 30 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
how? I felt like we've only talked for about 5.
Yeah, which is, I think, why we pitched the whole podcast, so we'd have time to talk about books, but I love it.
Yes.
But yes, thank you everybody for listening to another episode of The Book Boat. Please make sure to subscribe to the podcast. If this is your first time listening, if this is your 12th time listening, please subscribe. Actually, I don't know if we have 12. Is this our 12th? Sorry, now I'm sidetracked. 11th. This is our 11th episode. So if this is your 11th episode and you've been listening from the beginning, please make sure to subscribe. It really,
leave us a rating.
Yes, it really, like, we really look at all of this stuff and I get very excited. This is something I geek out on, and I mentioned it on a previous episode. But yes, make sure to subscribe, give us a rating, leave us a review. We definitely want to read those. Follow our YouTube channel. Just like I mentioned earlier, we do record all of our videos when we're doing this. We do it over Zoom, so we post those, and you'll get to see the books because sometimes we like to show the books. Like today, I highlighted all of the books I talked about. So yes, follow us on YouTube if you look up The Book Boat, and it's also linked in the episode notes, so you can just click there. Follow our Instagram at _bookboat, which is where we post all of the books, pictures of them inside of the books. We also will post stories where you can reply to our ending question or our ending challenge and tag us. So please do that. And like us on Facebook at The Book Boat, where we post as well. But Instagram is our main spot to communicate with us. But that's wrapping up our 11th episode. Thank you so much to all of our listeners, and go educate future scientists. That's what I'm going to leave it on. All right.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.